What's up, guys? Chris here, Southern Bones Outdoors. This is chapter 1 of Archery Advice for Beginners. We're here with Jimbow, and we're going to talk about the facts of archery. So, Jimmy, take it away.
Yes, so the reason we came up with this series, so to speak, and there'll be more, is I believe there's a thought process that a young archer has to be exactly what they see on TV.
Yeah.
Whether it's a hunter that has killed this mega giant and all that kind of thing. And so one thing I want to ease everybody's mind, that it doesn't matter whether your bow costs $10,000.
Right.
Your camo makes you invisible. If the deer aren't there, you're not going to kill them.
Right.
So I think as we watch YouTube, as we watch videos on TV and all those things, it's portrayed that it's super easy. It's a 30-minute segment, and you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been bow hunting since I was 13. I'm 54, so I think it's 41 years, if I can do the math that quick. And it has took a long time. And watching you grow up, Chris, and taking you for your first hunt, and shooting that deer we shot that evening, and leaving you in the woods, and me tracking it, and you a little fella and all that. I mean, you know, those are memories. But at the end of the day, I think the thought process is, archery is easy. Archery is easy as long as you don't make it not easy. If you make it hard, it will be hard. Straight up.
So by making it hard, you mean like worrying about what everybody else says, like worrying about, everybody on Archery Talk forum it says that I need to be at least shooting 60 pounds to kill a deer.
What did the Indians do, Chris? You know what I'm saying?
You don't know about them hanging their daggum, their bowstring measurements and weights and all that stuff. That's what they did back in the day.
No, archery has gotten commercialized, and if you don't have those people selling those products, and hunters are so guilty. If it's got a big deer on the package, I'm guilty of buying it. Well, I've got to have that. I've got to have this deer scent. I've got to have that deer scent. I've got to have this. And you're looking at somebody that has spent 40 years of trying to buy something that made me a better archer.
Right.
And the bottom line is practice with a purpose, and your gear is not as critical as it's portrayed.
Right.
Now, if we had a archery company, we would sell our product and present so the perception is you have to buy my equipment to shoot the deer that I do, which is totally wrong, especially for consumers.
Right.
And like I say, you get a buddy that you know, a hunting partner, and he just happens to get blessed to kill a big deer. Are you going to be happy for him? Or deep down inside, is this envy going to well up in you, and you're tired of hearing about the story because it changes 4 different times and you was there? You know, it went from a daggone 110-inch 8-pointer to a 125-inch 9-pointer with a kick. Come on, man. The thing about archery, one, you're setting in an ambush mode most of the time, and you need to hit a specific area. You've been raised this way, Chris.
Yeah.
All you got to do to kill a deer is hit a pie plate.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit a dot.
Right.
But when you go to the internet, and I'm not saying that them archers, I shot tournaments for 25 years all over the Southeast. I understand and set and killed myself trying to aim at that dot and aiming that dot. But the reason I got into 3D is to better my archery skills.
Right.
It is a great thing. 3D is awesome.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to make the choice, because you can't really shoot. You can, but you can't shoot competitive with your hunting bow along with a tournament bow.
Right.
So those are two different animals. One you're going to wear out, and the other one you're not going to shoot much. And promise you, you've watched me have 2 bows as long as you know me.
Yep.
And they're the exact same, because I don't want to switch grips and switch pull and switch the draw curve and switch how it feels for a hunting bow versus a target bow. But the reason I have 2, if I shoot tournaments starting in February, archery season starts in September. I've wore out that bow, and now I grab up my hunting bow, and I promise you, you can buy them the same day out of the duplicate boxes, ordered at the same time, and go to the bow shop when the guy brings them in the door, and they will not shoot the same. They'll feel the same, but for some reason, there'll be a little kick on this one. There'll be something that feels a little bit different, and that's just because it's a man-made material. You know,
Right.
it's going to change. But getting back to the reason and it being beginner talk, there is no reason whatsoever that a beginner archer should have in his mind that he's got to go spend $1,800 on his bow setup.
Right.
That is being guilty of being coached or goaded into buying what's on TV.
Right.
I promise you. The best equipment, the best of everything, what that does is just give you a bunch of stuff to make excuses about.
Right. What I personally think, as a beginner archer, start out like I started out with, like a kind of almost like a grow with you bow, something that is adjustable, something that is affordable. That's a main thing. I mean, because what if I get it right? What if I get I go out and spend $1,200 and I get it? It's my draw length. It's the poundage I think I can pull, and all of that stuff. Well, then I can't get the broadside of a barn, and honestly, I don't really have time to shoot. So this wasn't really for me. And now I'm out $1,200. You're not going to get that.
No.
Not even if you took it the day you bought
No.
it and sold it, because now it's used.
It's like a new car.
Right. So the value just dropped a little bit on it. And now you have to find buyer specific, because unless there's especially like somebody that's not around a bow shop, you know. I mean, there's a lot of details. You go and buy an adjustable bow, I feel you'll be able to sell it if you don't end up liking it.
Right.
And you can almost sell an adjustable bow for the price you
Almost,
pay for it.
yes. So early on, bows were 3 draw length specific. You had 3 draw lengths in inch increments.
Right.
So if you were a short guy, no pun intended, your draw length would be anywhere from 25 to 27
Right.
or 28. 3 draw lengths. So you'd buy a bow that was, most of the time, the middle draw length is where the bow performed the best
Right.
back in the day. Now, it is absolutely amazing to me that they can take a bow that will go from 17 inches of draw to 30 inches of draw and go from 15 pounds to 70 pounds. That, I can't fathom that.
Well, see, that's like, and I'm going to drop some bow names that I have experience with that.
Right.
So the Diamond Edge Pro, that is a bow that can go from that low range, like if you're Cameron,
Right.
my nephew is behind the camera,
Right.
Cameron's size to my size, or even Steven, who has our longest draw length,
Right. 32.
32, and that I believe that one goes out to 31, and you have an inch
You can
deep.
throw a longer loop on there,
Right,
and
throw a-
extend it and fit it.
Right. Then you have the G5 amped that I actually am guilty of buying. I mean, not guilty of buying it. I bought the bow. It looks great. It's shot smooth. And that is another bow that could go all the way down. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is a bow that a kid could come out and buy and keep all the way until he's an adult, and still shooting 70-pound limbs, you know, until he's an adult. He's got his actual draw length and everything.
Right.
Which, I mean, fact is, however, unless you're like me, you didn't grow much.
Right. You've had a break on
I've
your
had
ass
the
at
same
Jimbow.
draw length since I was.
Right. Chris is the only one that went from 10 to 30 in the same drawing. He just got T-Rex arms. But anyway, you know, the starting real early, you know, back in 82, 80, 81, and my dad having it was a Browning Cobra. And he bought me a cheap fiberglass recurve just to keep me from aggravating him all the time.
Right.
All right. And then him telling me, all right, when you can draw it, you can have it. And him being out of town and me going in the closet and sitting there just, and finally when I got it back, it was like, okay, I've arrived. But that was just the beginning. And so having an archery obsession, almost an addiction.
Yeah.
And the ones that know me know I'm telling the truth.
Right.
Finding out what makes things do this and what makes things do that, and finding out and being guilty of being a bow prostitute. Yes, you heard it first. A bow prostitute. Buying a different brand bow every year, using one bow and selling it.
Right.
Going from here, going to there, doing this, just changing bows like a chain underwear.
Top of the line.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta have this, gotta have that. There's no telling how much money. There is no telling.
Right.
And thinking that you had to have a better piece of equipment to be more accurate, that is wrong to a point.
Right.
Okay? I'm not going to say that better equipment is not better.
Right.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah. Same as.
But there's a certain, you have to decide, are you going to hit quarters at 70 yards? Or are you going to kill deer?
Right.
Two different animals.
Yeah.
Two different processes.
Mm-hmm.
And I had preferred to hunt more than 3D, but being heavily involved in 3D, shooting the very first ASA shoot that ever was, doing the Wayne Pearson tour. So
Right.
you guys, that's old guys, you know what I'm talking about. Shooting those and archery really taking off, and technology, and I'm going to go way back. There was a bow company that first came out called Clearwater.
Okay.
And they were the first company that I knew of that was around me that made really vivid colored bows. Because everybody else, you know, was camouflaged. I think I shot a Hoyt Spectra 5000. And when I seen that Clearwater bow, man, they had chrome cams on that thing, man.
Right.
And it was metal flake in the paint, and it was just like, whoa, you know. So I began to, man, that's what I want, you know. And I got caught up in it for probably 8 or 10 years that, you know, I'm going to shoot tournaments. I may not win every time, but I'm going to be pretty.
Right.
I got to be pretty, you know. So anyway, and being, like I say, a prostitute of bows, constantly, you know, you're not, and the thing of it is, what's crazy in the archery world, people that shoot certain brands hate people that shoot other brands.
Yes.
It's awful.
Yes.
At the end of the day, son, let me tell you, come to the house. You shoot what you bring, I'll shoot what I got, and we'll figure out who's the best shot.
Right.
It don't matter.
Right.
But it's crazy that the archery world is so, you know, but heck, it's been going on since Ford and Chevrolet. You know,
That's what I was about to say.
It's been going on. I understand personal preference. There's a certain bow company that there's a certain type of people that shoot them that I don't like.
Right.
I'm just being real.
Right.
I really don't want to socialize with them because they think they all that in a box of Cracker Jacks.
Right.
But I can't get them to come up here and shoot the targets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to put their money where their mouth is, because at the end of the day, you must have something that is forgiving, that is adjustable, that you can shoot and hit the target. Because if you can't hit the target, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to have any fun. You're not going to have any success. But if you're constantly looking on the internet, finding out what's the latest and the greatest, buying something new, I got to have something new. I got to have this. I got to have that. And I have been guilty. I'm telling you, I've been guilty. But it does not have to be that way. Now that I'm older, things make a little more sense. I wish I had a Jimmy in my life to say, hey, you don't need to have all that.
Right.
If you want it, it's out there.
Yeah.
The technology's out there.
Yeah.
But is it going to make you have any more fun?
Well, I mean, looking at these bows that are even coming out, like I was saying, the adjustable bows, these package bows, if you will. I mean, looking at them compared to even the Pro Bow technology, and I say Pro Bow, I'm talking about the $1,200, $1,500 bows. They're not that much difference, other than the fact that a lot of them are adjustable. but your draw cycles are smooth. Your back walls and stuff like that are smooth. And I know that we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but the main focus is telling. We understand how products get sold. We understand all about the marketing of products and stuff like that. We're not bashing any companies out there, but the way that a lot of shows, hunting shows, or the way that a lot of social media is portraying is that you have to have the top of the line to be the best archer. And the fact is, starting out, that is nowhere in the sight of where you need to be. Mm-hmm. So don't be looking at, I think I want to get into archery and get onto whatever, the internet, and be like, well, what's the first thing I need to start out with? You know what? I need to start with a Hoyt RX5.
Right.
Well, like I said, you're going to get that bow, and what happens if you can't?
Right.
It's not what you want. You don't like it. You don't enjoy it. You barely ever shoot. Whatever.
Right. Well, the way archery has progressed, at one time I would say the more money you spend, the better product you get.
Right.
At one time. Now, technology and what they're making the bows out of and the risers and all that, there's not any cast risers much anymore.
Right.
Which that was an industry standard, and I believe what should determine, there's a couple factors, maybe more than a couple, there's a few things that would determine if I was a beginning archer, or if you were a beginning archer, some advice I can give you. The first thing is your budget. Mm-hmm. How much is your budget? Because if you got a $500 budget or a $5,000 budget, you can find a bow and equipment to fit those budgets.
Right.
What's your budget?
Right.
Then look at draw length bows that are adjustable draw length with a wide range, because you don't know if you're going to like it or not.
Right.
Okay.
So you want to get something that you can sell easy.
That's right. And when I say sell and about the draw lengths being a beginner, bows are draw length specific to the archer. The taller you are, the longer your arms are. The longer your arms are, the longer the draw is going to be. So you have, like I said earlier, you had to buy a bow that was within 3 inches of your draw length. But then there's a particular company that went draw length specific. Mm-hmm. When you go draw length specific, if you're 5'7", 5'8", you got to sell that bow to somebody that is your stature, your size. But now with
your draw length.
Your draw length.
Right.
So now with the technology and the draw length adjustment so wide range, and the packages, man, fiber optic sights wasn't a thing till 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of package bows now that are coming out. They got everything straight out the box.
Straight out.
You're coming out with fiber optic sights. You're coming out
drop
with
away
nice
rest,
drop away
rest, stabilizer, the whole
quiver involved. The only thing you got to buy is your release and your arrows, and boy, you just
and you can find some that come with 6 arrows that's already matched to it and everything.
Right.
And I've had quite a few people come to me and say, "Hey Jimmy, I want you to show me how to shoot bow." And the first thing I ask them, "Do you have a bow?" Mm-hmm. Well, no. And the second thing I asked them is, "What's your budget?" Because if I get somebody that's got a unlimited budget, I could steer him into what to buy that would be what I shoot, so to speak. And that's usually what's going to happen. You're going to find somebody that you're going to seek advice from. Mm-hmm. And archery is so personal, down to color, down to feel, down to texture, down to camouflage. I mean, it's so personable that you can make it be you.
Yeah.
And what happens a lot of times is somebody will ask you, what do you shoot?
Right.
Well, if you tell them what you shoot and they're looking up to you, because a lot of times there's a following. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of probably a goofy word, but if somebody asks you to show them something, you're their teacher.
Yeah.
Every student looks up to a good teacher.
Right.
And eventually wants to surpass the teacher. Because I've said many times how quick the student wants to become the teacher.
Yeah.
So that person's going to steer you to what they think is best. But the advice today is look at your budget. How much do you want to spend? You don't know if you're going to like it. You don't know if you're going to enjoy it. Personally, if I didn't know that, I would spend the minimal, which to tell everybody out there that the minimal now was the maximum 20 years ago.
Right.
I mean, the technology, if you buy something generic, so to speak, it's still as good as what was the best thing out 15, 20 years ago, period.
Right.
And so don't let that deter you.
15, 20 years ago, shoot,
Right.
the technology now, not even the beginning package bows came close to back then. I mean,
Right.
now they're just,
Yeah.
other than probably the material that they, like let's say G5, okay, bringing them back up again. The only difference between their pro bows and, or I believe from what I've heard and a little bit of research that I did, other than adjustability and some things in the risers and limbs, there's no difference. They're both shooting just about same speed in some bows. I mean, in 2015, of course.
Right.
But I mean, just like I was like, wow. So there's not that much of a difference, and this bow feels amazing. I still have it. You know,
if it feels good.
I don't. It's not what I'm shooting now. You know, but I bought the bow because, let's be real, I didn't have a big budget. My bow had broke that year. I didn't have a major budget to go out and buy a pro bow. So I said, you know what? I couldn't find anything used that was in my draw length. So I went and bought, I went and bought that package bow and loved it for a whole year. I mean, until my finances came that I said, okay, now I'm ready to go buy my
step
pro
up.
bow. Right.
And that's the thing. If you're starting out and you do like it, you bought a draw length adjustable bow that you can sell to somebody in Timbuktu.
Yeah.
That off the internet that can adjust it to fit them, and they can start where you did. And at that point, then you can decide, okay, am I going to shoot 3D? Am I just going to hunt? Am I going to piddle with 3D and shoot a little bit, or am I just going to strictly hunt? Because those type of things, once you make the progression to move up, those are the things you need to consider. So, the advice of the whole reason for what we're doing today, check your budget, and just know this, that a inexpensive budget, I'm not going to say cheap, I'm going to be politically correct, an inexpensive budget does not, that deer doesn't know whether it gets shot with a $5,000 setup or a $500 setup.
Right.
But finding something that fits you, that is smooth, and I'm just going to be honest, the more people you talk to about archery, the more confused you'll be.
Yep.
And that's the truth. Find somebody that you trust that's going to give you good, sound advice. And I'm going to tell you, if I owned a bow shop, I would be pushing what I sold.
Right.
It's the business.
Right.
If you go to the Chevrolet dealership, you're not going to be looking for a brand new Ford.
Right.
So bear that in mind and let them set that bow up, because if it's a decent shop, they'll set that bow up for you and let you shoot it.
Yeah.
But you got to close out, because what they're wanting to do is sell you their product. You know?
And by no means are we bashing bow shops at
No,
all.
no. Heck, I got one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, but when you're starting out, you are so influenceable.
Yes.
That
You're a sponge.
Yes, you're wanting to be, and I'm sure there's somebody that either introduced you to it or got you into it, or you look up to and you look at their wall and you're like, daggum, they're all, no. They just got lucky to be in the stand the day that the deer walked by.
Right.
Unless they painted it and it just jumped out of a fenced in area. So we'll leave that alone. So, but anyway, like I say, the best advice I can give for a beginning archer, and we'll keep this segment to this, figure out your budget. Educate yourself. And get what feels good to you, regardless what anybody says.
Right. What feels good to you.
That's right. Not to me, not to you.
Yes.
And you know, the next time we'll talk about some other things on this segment that'll lead up to you know,
Actually pulling the bows out.
right,
So,
pulling the bows out, shooting them, show you different things and what to look for and all that. So,
Right.
cool.
well, guys, this was, like I said, chapter 1 of archery talk, archery advice, archery tips. We're telling everything, man. It might not be what everybody wants to hear, but it's the truth. So stay tuned. Hit us up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. Leave us a comment if you disagree. If you agree, that's awesome. Like I said, we're also on Facebook, Instagram. Check out all social media platforms. We're all there. Anyways, this is Chris.
This is Jimbow, B-O-W.
We're signing off. Southern Bones Outdoors. Thanks for watching.